Firsts are always special, and we have named our launch segment as Salesforce with AK. Because today we discuss Salesforce perspectives with our very own AK. AK is fun, quirky, and an expert whose knowledge and perspectives leave many spellbound. He is none other than Abhijit Kate, co-founder director of Salesforce practice at UBS DigiCloud, a Unicorps company. Abhijit, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Prashant. I'm excited to be here and would like to share my experience with our audience.
So, Abhijit, let's start with basics. We are all huge fans of Salesforce and its feature-rich power pack possibilities. We love how Salesforce is completely transforming the way businesses are done. It's automating tedious tasks, it's providing complete view of customer, and it is accelerating productivity. So, as an expert, does this exceptional power of Salesforce platform make you excited, or you're seeing a lot of competition emerging in this space, forcing you to create a strong differentiator? Basically, how do you keep pace with the evolving ecosystem?
What a question, Prashant. So, from the Salesforce product or Salesforce ecosystem perspective, I can confidently say, the way Salesforce is transforming not only the businesses, that is the outcome, but the way the Salesforce ecosystem, the product, are getting evolved since last, years that I am following Salesforce. Uh, if you look at it, Salesforce products are always Salesforce vision is like that, that they are always proactively looking for or adapting to new trends, technology trends, and whatever is coming, like for example blockchain. So Salesforce also has the platform to support blockchain for that matter. Also, if you look at it, uh, the recent one is basically this chat gpt. So now maybe 2 days back I read the news that Salesforce now has that chat gpt available for their sales cloud or the Salesforce products. So it is too early for me to comment on that because I still have to experiment on that. But as you see, the way Salesforce platform is available, or it was innovated or invented when they started with salesforce.com as a product company. I think they won the competition at that because the kind of platform capabilities are available. It is one of the fastest rapid application. You can say that it's a very very flexible platform wherein it is very easy to develop, or it is very easy to integrate with other third party systems and all the innovations that are happening within Salesforce. And also if you look at the Salesforce ecosystem, like a horizontal spread that they have, like right from collaboration to e-commerce to as I said, blockchain, now chat gpt. And also if you look at it from the integration perspective, of course they have done a couple of acquisitions also, which actually helps to giving a customer a complete suite of product which is primarily focused on customer experience or success of our customers. So I don't see a competition to salesforce.com products anywhere in the market because since last like 10-15 years Salesforce is always I think leader in the market. And because of the platform capabilities, it always is going to be having an edge over the competition, because the way innovations or the new things that we can do in the Salesforce ecosystem or the platform, that is something that is very hard to beat by any other product company, so to speak. And this is about Salesforce products and rich platform and everything like that. So what we do as a UBS DigiCloud, so we are always on our toes to learn about all the new product features, the new innovations that are coming into Salesforce. And with the help of trailheads and the material that is available to partners specifically, we make sure that our entire team, including myself, so we are spending at least couple of hours every week to have an insight on or we are trying our hands on with the new features and new possibilities that we can have, which is going to help our customers. Because at the end of the day, as I said, if our customer is successful, we are successful, and we always strive for giving latest solutions to our customers. So that is it, I think. That's what I think basically.
That is amazing, Abhijit. So Salesforce is a very powerful platform, we all know. But as an industry insider, I'm also hearing about implementation projects falling apart. There is a talk of non-existent ROI, poor user adoption, which kind of frustrates the key stakeholders who are driving Salesforce project within enterprises. So as an expert, what do you feel is the reason for these cases?
Well, this is real a good question. Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is something that it is okay. If I take a step back and say that like majority software projects have similar kind of say characteristics, I would say. It's actually a change, so whenever you are going for any system for that matter, any system implementation or any system, you are migrating from one system to another system. And when I say migrating from one system to another, it can also be that you have a process of or a system wherein you are doing everything manually, and then you are going towards the software product per se, to start using any particular software solution to carry out those activities and run that process. Yeah, so yeah, this is more of a very common problem. But if you look at it, so Salesforce primarily is used by uh, people that are customer facing. Okay, so the first thing is, I mean, what I have seen, typically the journey of customer on Salesforce ecosystem starts with sales process automation per se. Now, who are the people that are using sales process automation or a CRM? The salespeople. So, these salespeople, I mean, I have been a salesperson in my early life, so it is something that I never wanted to report, or maybe it was like that. Okay, why should I, tell you what is happening with my customers? Uh, am I not selling your products? Am I not selling my services? You are, anyway, any which ways, you are going to review my performance on the basis of business that I'm closing for you. So why are you interested in tracking my individual activities, so like, what am I doing now, what am I doing tomorrow, what am I going to do this, what is happening with this customer, and all this blah blah. So typically salespeople are hesitant. That's what we have seen. So that may be, or that may attribute to one of the uh, point that we say, that user adoption. The first thing that we have seen is user adoption is something that makes or fails the project. This is very, very important. And typically, customers, either IT or business, who has this taken this initiative of implementing Salesforce, they don't really look at user adoption when they are discussing, or when they are initiating a project into consideration. They primarily say, okay, we will just do a training, uh, end user training, 2 sessions or 3 sessions, that's it. And then we will have user manuals, and that's it. So then our project is successful. It is deployed in the production, and we have given the training, so all the check boxes are checked, we are good to go. But that's not the case. The adoption is, if it is not adopted or not used by the people or the users, then you are not really going to get any intel or ROI from the system, because you then dilute the objective of going for a Salesforce. It's a costly solution. Of course, it takes a lot of time and effort and all. That is one. Secondly, very, very important, you know, is whether you have support, unconditional support from your senior management or a C-level, leadership team to implement this. Unless you have that kind of a support, what we say, that goes back to user adoption also. So what we have been working with our customers is, uh, a particular kind of say philosophy, saying that if it is not in Salesforce, it doesn't exist. Unless and until customers start with this approach from the day one, then you will probably not see any kind of a high user adoption or high usage of the system. So I started with the output, and I am assuming at this point in time, I have assumed that the implementation was, you know, kind of having no issues in that. But when I come back to the standard project implementation kind of pitfalls or issues, yes, Salesforce requirements typically are one-liners. So I want my lead to be managed properly. I want this to be done, that. And when we try to ask questions, because these are the requirements that are coming from typically sales or a service side of the or departments of the company, and then they probably don't have that kind of practice of telling everything or specifying everything in a very detailed way. And that is where a partner who has in-depth understanding of a sales process or a service process, or they have done this kind of projects and they have dealt with this kind of users or business leadership teams, who speak the language, who understand the industry vocabulary, and who understands the kind of process steps of that particular industry. That is where the value add comes in. But then typically what we have seen is the requirements or the so there are two parts to these requirements. So one is, say, as a user or as an end user, when I am specifying my requirement, then I am first doing what I want. That is my core requirement, right? I want these things. But at the same time, because they probably have limited understanding, or they have not seen what capabilities of Salesforce product or a platform are, they fail to kind of explore the possibilities that they could achieve within their process, or within their improvement of the current process that they are doing with. So that is where the mismatch between requirements, what they want, what Salesforce can offer, then it also has a very thin say threshold that it can enter, or it can get into a very data entry kind of a system, which is not Salesforce for. So Salesforce is much more than that. And that is where very, very expert a partner who has this kind of experience, if they are with the customer, then they can help customers to navigate in a proper way. But that is somewhere we have seen that as you said rightly, the non-existence ROI and all the things that you mentioned is basically related to this kind of situations wherein senior management has a totally different goal or ambitious goal per se, and middle management, okay, they go with, okay, whatever the requirements are, they collect the requirement, they give it to IT or something like that, and they will say, okay, find a partner who can give me that. Maybe IT has some budgets issues, or not issues, but certain budget allocated, and then they will go and they'll say, okay, I want a partner who does this for this and this particular budget. Whether they really have that kind of a value add or a understanding and all, that's a question mark. Another thing that I would say, apart from business requirements, is technical capabilities. Technical capabilities like Salesforce, very, very important, is the ROI of any particular software system will come to you when you have end-to-end process automation with integration, done, because there are different products that you use for within an organization. And unless you have a kind of a integration policy or integration architecture within your organization, you are not going to get the real advantage of Salesforce very, very high capability of integrating with third party systems. So the end to end process automation gives you much more ROI, because you get lots of bandwidth that is freed up. You get your people away from the mundane or routine task. They don't have to do double data entry or getting data from various sources and do some analysis and all. So these are very standard things that I'm talking about, nothing new. But again, so technical capability is very, very important. And another thing is also, what we have seen, the companies that are large in size, like 10,000, 15,000, people working in those companies, then of course there are different silos within the organization. And there it really has to have a very strong project management and a change management teams within customers, from customer side, I would say, who can navigate through all these silos and all. And we have seen this is one of the things that a partner can help them. But of course, these are some of the things that I think are contributing to a failure of a Salesforce project.
That is so insightful, Abhijit. If I look back at the conversations that I'm having, it is quite possible that they are working with the partner who is unable to bring either the industry knowledge or the product knowledge or technical expertise. And more importantly, probably they are not able to act as a sounding board for CXOs while they define the processes and they implement in the tool so that the right adoption level happens. But there are companies who have already selected a partner and they are like 25-50% already into the implementation stage. So what happens in such a case? Is the project completely called off?
Well, not necessarily, because there is always a silver lining, right? So, see, thing is, the Salesforce, as you know, it's a public cloud offering, right? And unless you sign the contract and pay advance for those licenses, you probably you don't get this kind of say environments or the Salesforce product for configuration also. So in that way, customer has already spent a lot of money in acquiring those licenses. They have probably paid some money to the partner also to start with this implementation and configuration and customization. It's a lot of investment that is already done. Not only about the cost, but also the efforts and people's time. So I don't think they are called off unless, like, there is a very, very huge reason to do that. But I have not seen any customer is just calling it off. So in this case, there is always a rescue that we can do, and we have those capabilities for our customers.
That sounds so interesting, Abhijit. Tell me more about what is this rescue project all about?
Absolutely, Prashant. So see, this rescue projects is something that UBS DigiCloud is known for. We have been contacted by not only our customers or say from our references, but also Salesforce account executives or the success teams. They also refer customers to us when there is this kind of situation at customers that they have seen. Uh, every year, we are seeing at least couple of projects every year that are coming in our way, wherein we have to get into the either mid of the implementation or uh, for certain particular technical gap that this particular customer and the project team is facing. So we jump into that, and we basically rescue that entire Salesforce implementation or the Salesforce thing. uh, on a lighter note, we also say, that there are these security forces, border. What is there is there are certain CRT or like quick action forces or something like that. So we have couple of people team which basically takes that kind of say assignment, and they are always on their toes. So whenever there is a requirement, we just deploy this kind of a quick response team. I was trying to figure out what is the name, so it was like a quick response team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have this kind of thing. And how it works is, I'll tell you one of the maybe one of the thing that comes to my mind, for the customer. So we had been in touch with this customer when they were evaluating a vendor. We were almost, I think we were final one of the final two vendors that they have chosen, and we were anticipating that project will start with us, but some for some reason they went ahead with a competitor, our competitor, for implementation, and we were okay with that. I said, okay, no problem. uh, we can always work together if in the future, right? And it happened so that after, I think, they started this project, because of course the relationship is always there, and we do business and we maintain our relationships even though you know customer decides to go ahead with some other partner and all. So one fine morning, I think it was a weekend, and I got a call from our customer and says that, Abhijit, we are really struggling with some of the technical issues. Can you help us with this? And I said, why not? Of course, we will be able to help you on that. So the typical issue was of the technical competency. The customer is using certain standard uh, compliant, I would say, integration frameworks and all that stuff. And then this partner, they were not aware of that, and they were finding it little difficult because they have never worked on that, and they have no experience in doing that. So it was a complicated integration scenario and architecture where this partner was struggling. And then we said, okay, no problem, I'll come in and we will do that. They were struggling for almost 4 to 6 weeks on that. Nothing was moving on. And then me and my partner, like our CTO or the technical architect or solution architect, I mean, he wears many hats, Nitin. So he kind of, started looking into the environment. Of course, we had NDAs and everything that is in place. So he started looking into that, and you won't believe, and nobody believed that. Of course, within 4 hours, Nitin gave them the solution, and the project or the technical issue that they were struggling, it was resolved within 4 hours. And then the things completely, changed. So of course, customer has an obligation to go with the partner because there is a contract and this and that. But then customer was very interested to work with us again. So they wrote two contracts. So one with the existing vendor that they continued, but they also wrote a contract with us to continue, or basically to take over from that particular moment or that particular point. And then we did many projects for that customer in future, after that. That was one. Secondly, also, there was last year there was a case that 100 user implementation, customer has stopped using Salesforce because they were not able to have their people using the system. There were a lot many issues they were facing. Again, integration was there, functionality was not properly implemented, the insights were not coming into reports on dashboards. So they came to us saying that, hey, Abhijit, this is the situation, and we are renewing the Salesforce licenses again, and we are now thinking whether we should do that because we don't see any ROI. So either we have to kind of stop this entire investment and pull this away, or if you can help us. Within 3 weeks, I think we our quick RT, like this quick response team, so they turned the situation around, and we have taken a look at the what is implemented, what was the requirement. We had series of discussions with end users, with senior management, with middle management, and with the other departments like accounts, finance, delivery, dispatch, all these functions. And then we said, okay, we created a complete solution design according to that. And I think within 3 to 4 weeks, uh, we started seeing the change in the user adoption. And now the situation is, this customer now, they had taken licenses not only for India but their other countries. And they were like 6 or 8 months back, they were thinking of stopping the Salesforce use, licenses. Now they are kind of extending their licenses to their peers who are operating in overseas countries, like in Europe or in other countries, right? So Yeah, of course we are. I mean, I am not just kind of saying that, or this is not a marketing pitch or a sales pitch per se, but I know that our team has experience into going into middle of the project, and we have that competency to sort of bring that project back on the track and implement it. We save customers efforts, time, and also importantly costs, because we know that they already are spending double for that matter, because they have already spent with the existing partner and now they have to pay us. So we consider that part, because we know that once we earn the trust from the customer, we will have a long term relationship with our competence and expertise, and the way we are also able to manage expectations of business and the entire organizational change management. Because you would imagine, right, once the this kind of situation starts in a project, of course the morale gets down, trust on the new system before it gets implemented starts lowering down. So as a partner, we have to work totally in a different way, not only technical competency, but also bringing all our experience into of say managing this change within the customer organization. We also need to look at that and bring that into the project.
What a save, Abhijit. That brings out couple of points. A strong technical team is very important. Somebody who puts customer at heart is key to overall project success. And there are absolutely several other things that are important in the life cycle of a Salesforce project. Rescue is definitely one way, but is there a way companies can figure out these red flags early on so that they don't have to get into this situation of rescuing a Salesforce project with bringing in another partner and having two contracts and things like that? Is
Right.
there a checklist that the selection committee can follow at the start itself?
Yeah. So yeah, of course, there are many things that customers can do, of course. But then with the risk of being little bold or maybe little arrogant, I would say that customers should not go after big brands. There are lot of, I mean, of course we are into startup era, wherein there are companies like us who are specialized in particular product or industry or domain knowledge, or our uh, way we implement and we help our customers with the success of their entire projects and initiatives. I would say that you will get maybe more than what you can, because we are hungry, right? So rather than following or sticking to a particular template, I would rather give you a different perspective on this. One, I think if I am a customer and if I am choosing or I am selecting a partner for my implementation project, then I would do a couple of things. One, I would pick up a complex or a couple of complex, use cases that touches maybe entire one of the process of my, organization, uh, with say integrations, and I would request or I would have that as a one of the criteria for my, selection team or a selection criteria. And I would ask my whatever vendors that I'm dealing with or partners to sort of create a personalized demo for me, or a demo, or a say POC for that particular thing. So that is one thing, definitely. Secondly, I would also look at the track record. So this is basically wherein you need to have, I would say, the credibility, and also the reference checks that you can do, right? You probably want to have a call with your customers, and just to kind of check how your experience was, right? uh, One of the thing that we have learned is, of course, it is difficult in a way to judge technical competence that particular partner can bring in, but there are certain ways that you can, of course, have technical evaluation of the project team. Because typically what happens is, uh, in sales and pre-sales the teams are different, and when actually it is getting transferred to delivery teams, the teams are totally different, right? So you really have to have that kind of confidence. Like for example, get the CVs of people that are going to work with you. Maybe before you award the contract, try to have maybe a small 15-20 minutes talk with the uh, developers rather, or architect, and just get to know them, and just to have your own say questions for them, whatever that comes to your mind, right? One of the other thing that is also that, you should also have a very good use cases or the requirements that whatever templates that, process oriented, whether your partner is process oriented or not, do they follow certain kind of a templates. Ask them, because we are say, in UBS Digi Cloud, whenever we engage with the customer, we are very open and transparent, so we share all the process documents, templates and everything with our customer, just to there are two advantages of doing that. One, we are able to set the expectation with the customer the way we work, so that they are also aligning to our way of working or the processes. But at the same time, it also gives them a confidence that okay, there is a standard process, and which is which is available, or sorry, which can be monitored or tracked. And then there is a lot of kind of say focus, or you can basically have a reporting on that, so you are basically having a control on what is going and how the project is going, or what is the status of the project, and you can proactively manage all the risks or anything like that that is coming into the project, right? Of course, very, very important, I would say, is the maturity of people that are working with you from the delivery team and a consulting team. Because as I said earlier also, change management or running or driving this change management for you, even though customers is responsible for doing that, but still you need a partner who can give you, or who can basically work with you to define that change management strategy, or run that change management strategy with you. So that is very, very important, right? And of course, if you are doing it in a local or a global, if you're implementing it in a global environment, then you need to see whether they have the capacity, whether they can do this kind of implementation for various other countries and all. Then I would say uh, trainings, are they able to do the trainings in their languages, or whether they are able to do only in English language and all that stuff. But these are minor things. The important is whether your partner has done this kind of implementation earlier, what is the value add that they are bringing, do they have the required technical competence and industry knowledge. That is what I think is very, very important, along with the change management. So basically, their consulting has to be very, very strong. That's it, I think, from my side.
Those are some very robust checkpoints, Abhijit, that you just mentioned. Uh, Figure out the personalized solution to your problem, figure out the way in which the partner works, their working methodology, and all that. Like they say, that common sense is sometimes not so common, and sometimes you get confused by the web of complicated things. So I believe that with this checklist in place, it will be very easy to find the right partner, and people will look for these checkpoints at the time of selection so that they don't have to go into the rescue mode. Thank you for incredible insights and powerful perspectives, Abhijit. It was pleasure talking to you on Salesforce with AK.
Thanks, Prashant. And even if, just to kind of, on a lighter note, even if they don't find the right partner, we are always there. Or even if they find the partner and they still need to have some kind of a rescue or some sort of a help from our side, we are always available. So thanks, Prashant. It is always pleasure to talking with you, and I think we will have more such talks in future.
Thank you, Abhijit. Absolutely. We'll pick up another topic on Salesforce some other day. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks, Prashant.
Thank you. Bye. That's a wrap for today's episode of Salesforce with AK. We have many more perspectives about Salesforce CRM in this segment, but I'm saving it for the next episode. Join us next time as we discuss Salesforce secrets and tricks. Before I sign off, I would say, doesn't success ultimately boil down to strategic planning and planned execution? That is some food for thought. Until next time, goodbye and stay tuned.